touch me again, you find out who I really am.
The Hash It Out Show is brought to you by the Minius Law Firm, Bayou Audio and Video Security, Barreto Home Solutions, Leo's Auto Glass, Moe's Pizza, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Hotworks on the Northshore, Style, saving troubled youth's lives every day, Fatty's Jambalaya, Holly Craft Impressions.
Louisiana, let the whole state know. It's time to tune in to the from the bayou to the city, from the river to the coast. Talking Louisiana sports with the voices you trust most. JB, the sports guy, bringing interviews your way. Players and coaches got something to say. Locker room stories and the time behind the fame, getting you closer to the heart of the game. George Pepper's breaking down the action in the score. Big plays, big hits, and a whole lot more. The top 5 teams, yeah, they calling them out. Every week's rankings, no room for doubt. And VK Jones got a message to repeat. Like, tag, share, subscribe, keep the movement on your feet. Spread the word to your family and your friends, because Louisiana sports never truly ends. Biggest news around the state, they cover it all from kickoff in the fall to basketball. So grab a seat and turn the volume up loud. Welcome to the
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB the Sports Guy. We got a good one for y'all tonight at 7:15. One and only Lamar Gafford of Sindler Preps is going to join us right here on the Hash It Out Show to talk about the Central Louisiana High School football teams. Also, at 8 o'clock, Mike McMillan of Northshore Prep Report is going to join us to talk about the high school football teams on the North Shore. And as you can see, I got the one and only with me, VK Jones. What's up, VK?
What is good, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on, JB? Like, tag, share, subscribe to the Hash It Out Show on all social media platforms. Just like the theme song said, we're on X, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and on JB the Sports Guy YouTube. See, I ain't been missing it now. I got you pounded it in me all the time. JB the Sports Guy. So it's muscle memory now. But like, tag, share, subscribe. We appreciate the support and everything. We thank y'all so much for joining us yesterday for our great first live remote show that we had. Not our first one, but first one for the 2026-2027 season. So it was a good one. Go back and watch it. It was a great show. But we got a good one tonight. We're getting close to the 2026 high school football season.
Coach Corday Hankton. What's up, man? Good to hear from your brother. What's going on with it? I got Coach Corday Hankton right there, everybody. Yes, indeed. Yes, that show yesterday, Eastern Royal from Brother Martin, Prentice Mackion, Craig Connor from John Curtis, and then went to the basketball side for a second with Kristen Clare from Archbishop Shaw. So, man, it's a great show, great interview with all 4 individuals. It was a lot of fun, VK.
Oh, yeah, it was really fun to really do that show yesterday. We thank Pickup USA Fitness for having us and stuff like that. One of our remote places that we are going to be doing the shows and stuff like that. And it was great. And we like to also thank the families that came out to support these kids and everything, and to put the trust in us to, do the interviews and everything. And, we're a platform that want to give the flowers where it belongs and let the kids and also coaches tell their stories. So that's what we do. We don't smear. We don't do none of that. We're here to support the kids and the programs.
Correct. That's correct. Coach Hankton, whenever, you got a open seat. You're always welcome, brother. You know that, man. Whenever you're ready, man. Not a problem.
Yes.
Not a problem.
Yes, sir. Corday Hankton is good. I think he still work with LSU, so I believe he is. So hey, big ups to you. He has really been working hard, and shout out to his brother Cortez, man. He took a job up at Ohio State now. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing with his resume. Dartmouth in the Ivy League, then all of a sudden he comes to the SEC, goes to Georgia, and then all of a sudden he goes to LSU, and now he's in the Big Ten. It's amazing, man. It's amazing what they do.
See, I gotta stop you because you're sitting there saying information that's not correct. Corday is not with LSU anymore, brother. He's not.
No, I'm just seeing that. I didn't know.
I know you didn't know. I knew, and I was like, oh, there go VK. There you go. 100 miles an hour. But no, Corday, we'll get back into coaching one day. Hopefully, that's up to him. But right now, he's in the farmer sales, so all good.
Oh, that's good.
All
That's
good.
still good. He's, what I'm saying. But I know it would be great to have him on, and I'm like this. We got to keep him on the Rolodex.
No, anytime, man. I got you covered, Corday. We're gonna do that, brother. You got an open seat. You know that.
Absolutely. But I apologize for that. I did not know. I didn't know he would stop coaching for a second, but I know he's gonna be back. I know that. But like I mentioned, shout out to him. Shout out to Cortez and the Hankton family. Very good people.
Without a doubt. So, VK, fall camp has started this week. A lot of schools getting into it. Some putting the pads on. Some cannot put the pads on until next week. So if you had a spring game, you cannot wear pads until next week. If you didn't have a spring game, you could put the pads on this week. And VK, I know I'm about to get down to the nitty-gritty, man. And we're all excited right now. And, fall camp, where it all gets started from. And you heard Eastern Royal yesterday, you get in fall camp, and there's some skirmishes, some fights that happen. But that's part of fall camp. That's what happens.
That's where you get ready to see what's the real, what's the fake, everything else. And it's high expectations for all programs because you have to think it's 0-0, 0-0 going into the. We start with the scrimmages, then you go into the jamboree, and then all of a sudden we get to week 1, and that's where the real deal goes down. If the season is going to be what it is, or is the season not going to be what it is, or even if you win a close game, how good you played, even if you lose a close game, do you see progress? Do you see a lot of things in their team that be like, okay, we could be very good this year, or we could be, I don't know, we got something missing, or we need to fix some things. So you're going to tell a lot through the fall camp all the way to week number 1 of the season. And it's high expectation for everybody, like I mentioned, 0-0. And people want to have good starts to the season. And the goal for everybody is to win a state championship, but most importantly, make the postseason. So it's very important goals for all these programs all over the state of Louisiana, not just in Southeast Louisiana where we are, but you can go all the way to near the Arkansas border. It is time.
Arkansas ain't got nothing to do with this.
Wait. Hold on.
Alabama, no Mississippi. This is Louisiana, man. Let's stay right here, man. Come on now.
I did not. Hold on.
Come on, man.
Hold on. I said near. I did not say the Arkansas border.
Shoot.
Clean your ears. I said near, meaning Oak Grove. Those programs. That's what I just said.
We ain't worried about an Arkansas border.
No,
everything is inside of Louisiana.
Hold on.
We ain't worried about a border. Everything is inside of Louisiana, man. Keep it right here. The boot, baby. The boot.
It is about the boot. The boot. No, see, you misunderstood me. I said schools near, as in I did not say Arkansas. Oak Grove is nearby the Arkansas border. We're talking about those Louisiana schools that are like almost out. That's what I'm talking about. Football all the way around. Clean your ears, sir. I did not say Arkansas.
No, check your language. But anyway,
moving on. Do you understand what I was talking about?
We were near the border. We were right here.
Wait.
State, baby.
So it is a state. Is Oak Grove part of the state?
Yeah, it's part of the state, but we ain't worried about near the border. We just talking about the state in general. We got to say nothing about another state. But anyway,
I didn't say anything about.
You said Arkansas?
You misunderstood. No. You misunderstood that because it's amazing. No. Let me explain, please, because the one thing you're not understanding. Why you're not understanding what I'm saying? Because I'm talking about schools we did not know that are like really, really close to, you know what I'm saying, far away type of Louisiana schools. You know what I'm saying?
Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, to the next topic.
Let's move on. Let's move on. I'm not going to argue all this.
Next topic.
Next topic, bro.
The boot, baby. The boot.
Whatever. It is the boot. Always going to be the boot. Always.
But we get to these fall camps. We get to the scrimmages. And I know we'll talk more about the scrimmages coming up. But I like a couple of these scrimmages that we have lined up. VK Jones, University goes to St. Charles Catholic every year. That's two guys in the same district, and not district, division. And they played in the semis last year. You got John Kennedy, John Kennedy at John Ehret, St. Augustine at Thibodaux. Destrehan goes to East Ascension, Shaw at St. Amant. So I like some of these scrimmages that we have lined up here coming up. I wish we could clone ourselves and go to all of them, VK Jones, but that's impossible. But that Destrehan at East Ascension, man, I'm liking that one a lot right there, VK Jones.
Sound like Hash It Out Show might be in your city. You know what I'm saying? So that's a strong possibility because that's a really good scrimmage, a really good test. A veteran East Ascension team going against a very young Destrehan squad. A very good test for both teams. I really like that. That's actually the first time in a long time that Destrehan is going to be going on the road for a fall scrimmage.
Yeah.
So that is going to be fun. Shaw, credit to Hank Tierney, like every year. He does not mind taking that ride, and it's usually a really good test. St. Amant, very, very scrappy, good program and everything, and a lot of interesting scrimmages, new teams going against one another early. So it's going to be some good stuff. University in St. Charles, it never fails that these two will go at it and seeing what type of teams that they're going to have this year. So, but we're going to see what I think Destrehan and East Ascension might be on our radar. But we'll see what all the other New Orleans teams, who they're lining up against, and all that good stuff.
Corday. So we're on every Tuesday and Wednesday, buddy. Every Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday at 6:30, Wednesday at 7:00. So just whenever you're ready, brother. Like I said, I got an open seat for you. I'm excited. Lamar Gafford's going to join us in about 2 minutes.
I think
these similar teams. Mm-hmm. And I know he's going to be pretty high on Alexandria, a Gina, and a Bunkie. I know he's going to be high on those guys. Gina looking to get back to the state championship. Alexandria got the Williams brothers. They're not brothers, but they are the best running back duo probably in the state of Louisiana. So, VK, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to be joined by the one and only Lamar Gafford of Sinler Preps. Are you in need of a new windshield? Leo Autoglass can help. For 20 years, Leo Autoglass have been servicing the New Orleans area with windshield replacement and auto glass repair. Give them a call today, 504-301-8353. Whether you're looking to refresh your living space, enhance your home's exterior, or undertake a complete renovation, Barretto's Home Solutions is the place for you. Give them a call at 504-940-7552.
At Bayou AV Security, we are your one-stop shop for all your needs, whether it's enhancing your home entertainment system, securing your property, ensuring a seamless internet connection, or illuminating your outdoor spaces. We've got you covered. Bayou AV Security, where technology meets reliability Call us today to experience the Bayou difference.
And welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB the Sports Guy, joined by VK Jones. Joining us right now is our good friend with Cellular Preps, the one and only Lamar Gafford. What's up, brother? How's it going?
Man, I'm good. I'm good right now. I'm so happy that we're about to start another season, but even more happier, I'm employed. So I'm employed. Shout out to the Rapides Parish School Board for giving me that chance. Back at Peabody once again. So I'm excited. Let's go.
There you go, brother. There you go. There you go. I'm happy for you, brother. Lamar, Cellular football. A lot of teams there, but I want to start with the big name. And there's a lot of talk about this team, Lamar. People are saying that this team has a good shot to get to the Dome. Alexandria, what can you say about them?
Man, what can I say about them? What can I say about them? I mean, this team is very strong. The last few years, they have been building up to get to this point here. Obviously, got to the Dome in 2024 when they faced against Edna Carr. Made it to the Prep Classic in 2020 when it was in Natchitoches and was a point shy of against Acadiana. But this is a good team here that offense, defense, you have a lot of Division I talent. Carson Sellers, already a Lamar commit. Alex Fontenot has committed also to a major college. And then, of course, you also have some of the other guys like Jaden Bayon, Bryson Phoenix, some of those other guys there. So even though Phoenix is now hurt, and shout out to the young man, I mean, hate to say it here, that he tore his ACL during the summer, so hoping for a speedy recovery for him. And looks like he might miss the season unless if it goes deep into the playoffs. But I mean, this is again a good team that has a great chance of making a statement here. They have pretty much a lot of key playmakers on each and every single level here. The skill players, the offensive line, the defensive line, linebackers, and even the defensive backs here. And this is a team that's really going to be tested, and they get a big test to start off the season when they face against Bryant out of Arkansas, a team that has not lost since 2023. So they got them at Butcher-Stoker Stadium week 1, and that will definitely be a hot ticket around here.
Definitely. Let's go down the road just a little bit. Leesville. What can you say about Leesville?
Leesville's another team here that I feel like that will have themselves a pretty decent year. Last year they started off kind of slow. They were 1-4. Of course, when you have to try to replace Xavier Ford, who's now in Minnesota, that's a hard sell to ask there. But Grant Braxton has definitely done that job so far. He's coming into his junior year. He looks like that he's going to possibly be one of the next great Leesville Wampus Cat running backs. But you also have to give it to Trell Broom, an experienced quarterback who has been a starter now for 3 years. Looks like they're probably going to go as much as they have with him as well. And then, of course, you have Julius Brown, who's going to come back as a wide receiver and a defensive back. I think with Leesville, they're going to have some new teams in their district. They're still going to play the Ritter. The Ritters dropped the 3A, but they can still try to make their way in that district too. And I think the other thing is moving to the non-select side in Division II should help them a little bit more in this case, even though you still got to face against those teams like Lutcher and you still got to face against North DeSoto. I think that they will fare a little bit better on that end there.
All right. Tioga. There's a lot of talk about Tioga. They were pretty high last year. When I say high, a lot of talk about the job they did in the regular season. What can you say about Tioga?
Well, this season they lost a lot of seniors, and that's the one thing that's gonna hurt them a little bit there. They had a good quarterback in Case Malone. He's gone. Of course, you had Kervin Johnson, who's now gone to I think Ole Miss also. So he's now gone there. And so now you're having to try to replace some of those guys there. And in their district, obviously they swap out now Peabody, who's now making the move up to 5A. But now you get Neville coming right back down to 4A there, and that's going to be a little bit of a tough thing for them. I think right here with Coach Chrisman, this is his second year. They seem to play with him. They liked playing for him. That's the one thing I learned about in that first season here when they made the hire from Coach Cook to Coach Chrisman there, Coach Dan Chrisman, which he's been a lifer. He's been a long-time track coach and everything, but they really love playing.
Seems like we lost Lamar for a second. Hopefully we can get him back. As he was describing the Tioga Indians. So we lost him for a second. So let's see if we can get Lamar back. Lamar can exit out and come right back because he's frozen and we cannot hear him right now. So Lamar, you hear us
playing for him, even after that first win of the season.
There he is. You back, Lamar. Go ahead, man. We had lost you for a second. Go ahead, brother.
Oh man, I had a long talk and everything, but just talk about again Tioga. They're going to be a solid team, I think. You might have a little bit of a step back because they lost a lot of seniors. Kenny Pontier as their running back, Kervin Johnson as their wide receiver, Case Malone as their quarterback. Now all gone there, but they still have some building blocks and some pieces there around them. I think one of the Landry boys is going to really help them out as a offensive lineman here. So they'll still have a good opportunity there. And the other thing is they really like playing for Dan Chrisman, who is their coach there. He was a first-year coach last year, took them to some last year, enjoyed playing for him, especially so much that they gave him a Gatorade shower after his first win in week 2. I definitely will get a chance to see them in week 2 when they play against Pineville, and also in week 4 when they face against Natchez Central. I'm excited to see what Tioga has.
Definitely. I'm going to ask this question, then I'm going to pass it to VK, and he can ask you a few questions. But let's go to the defending state runner-ups in Division 3 non-select, the Gina Giants. What about them coming into this season?
Hey, they're excited, and I know that they're loving y'all's predictions right there because they're excited about that. But most importantly, even though you do lose Cedric Wilson as one of their running backs, they still have Daniel Hatcher, who is more than capable of being a bell cow running back for themselves here. And this is the one thing that Gina loves to do. They loves to play good defense. They love to run the ball. They're a smash mouth offense, and they have a good chance of possibly trying to get back down to the Dome once again this season. The thing is, you do have St. James still there in that Division 3 non-select, but Sterlington has now moved up. Union Parish, we're waiting to see what's going to happen, obviously, with now Coach Spatafora gone. But, at this point, if you're Gina, you got to be really feeling pretty good about your chances there. Possibly is maybe between you and St. James facing against each other for that chance again. But I know they're probably going to take it one step at a time. Coach Jay Rourke, definitely one of the better coaches that we have around here in the area, gets the most out of his guys, and is also a very consistent coach there, where if you just give him 55 to 60, 75 guys out there, lo and behold, he's going to find a way to make it happen with those guys. And I think Gina will definitely have a solid season this year again.
Hey, Lamar, man, it's good to have you on the show. I'm going to ask you about one of the teams that really have been, continuing to improve each and every year, and, had a nice run last year, and hope they're going to try and make a deeper run again, the Bunkie Panthers.
Yeah, they're losing some guys here too. One of the guys, Zion Lee, who's now gone to the U.S. Naval Academy, but I got a chance to see them during their spring game, and I was really impressed by the running backs that they have coming back here. I think one of the guys is Jadarian Gaines. He definitely ran hard in the spring game when I saw him against Peabody.
And we lost Lamar again. There you go.
There you go.
And
be patient. We'll be getting Lamar back again.
I want to say we charted him for about do a solid job this team and help out that linebacker core continue to being who they are.
Understandable, and Bunky. Hopefully, even with the losses, hopefully some other people will step up and they continue to make waves. One team I was telling JB about, and he was like, "I don't know about this team," and I said this team was young, and this team could make a push. Your thoughts on the Marksville Tigers?
Exciting team, an exciting offense, and you do lose Amani Benjamin, who, as a first year guy, still got 750 yards and was breaking records. And this was his first time out there in pads. But Devin Lavallee going to go to Tulane. He's a Tulane commitment. He is an experienced quarterback, and that's going to be one of the things that's going to help out Marksville this season. Jaden Price also is another guy that's really ready to step up as a big-time receiver and also as a big-time defensive back. This Marksville team, as we've seen these last couple of years, they've been building up to this point these last few years under Josh Harper. 2 years ago, they were 5-5, had a good chance against Bunky, gave them a really good game, and even last year, it was an exciting game for the Catskin matchup. And this year, I feel like they have a good chance of possibly being in the mix for that division, District 2-3A, 2-3A championship there with them and Gina. And of course, you got to feel like here that game against Bunky, you can just throw out the records there. But it's going to be an exciting matchup. And it's just going to be an exciting team. If you really love points, this is going to be one of your teams to really watch for this season because they could probably light up the scoreboard along with anybody else.
Very much agreed. A team that continues to really stay consistent in itself in Central Louisiana, and I think they made a nice playoff run last year. How about the Faraday Trojans?
Faraday's another solid team here. Now, of course, losing Desmond Jefferson, that's going to hurt them a good bit here. He was a 4-year receiver for them and really set a lot of records for them. Now he's going to go to Southeastern. Peyton Collins, also another guy that's now gone on to the FCS level, also Southland guy, gone to McNeese. But over there at Faraday, they're still going to try to find a way in order to try to make things work there. I think one of the good things is their district. You get out of that district there where you're not having to worry about facing against Oak Grove and also having to face against Washita Christian. I think they still have Mangum on in the district there, but you have a little bit more.
Mr. Gafford has frozen again. We apologize for that. Just be patient with us. He'll be back on, I promise you.
3, 2, 1.
Let me talk about Faraday.
Here we go.
Of a chance in the district now. Vidalia moving down.
Okay. Yeah. Faraday is a really good program, and Faraday, continue to trying to get themselves back in the groove, especially winning a state title in 2019. So they're trying to really get back into it for Faraday, and they've been really, really, on trying to stay on the consistent side. What is going on over in Natchitoches with Natchitoches Central?
Yeah, last season with Natchitoches, I mean, now of course you're going to have to replace Owen Smith at the quarterback, and that's going to be the big thing about them. But they still got pieces in the skill position levels. I think KJ Newton is one of the guys that they do have. That's a very solid receiver, very talented guy. Brad Laird was able to make this team after a slow start last year. They got to I think 6-5 last year, made it to the first round of the playoffs, And, he's brought some stability with this program, because for the last couple of years, they've been having a little bit of a revolving door of coaches that really didn't get to the third year there. And now he has kind of brought a little bit of stability there for him. And of course, with Coach Laird, a veteran head coach, we remember him from his days at Ruston. We remember him from his days at Northwestern State, but also getting right back down to the high school level. That's going to really help out the Chiefs this season. Of course, they're playing in that Shreveport district. That's always going to be a little bit tough there, especially with the quarterbacks that they have there, especially the main one with Pop Houston against Evangel. Captain Shreve has always had some good athletes. Airline has always had some decent athletes as well. So trying to hang with those teams there. Also, Huntington's making to come up as well. But trying to hang around with those schools as well, that's going to be a big thing there too. I know in week 4 they got to face against Tioga. That's going to be a key game. They also got another key game against Sterlington, and then they also have Evangel. And I think they have all 3 of those teams right back to back against each other. So that's going to be really a chance to see here of what the Chiefs are made of in this one.
A program that continues to really fight hard, and on top of that, making the postseason, but they're trying to get deeper and deeper each year, and that is Holy Savior Menard. What you see with Holy Savior Menard, the Eagles coming up this season. Lamar Gafford will be back in a second. Lamar. Okay, Lamar, you hear me? Lamar?
Bad. The connection issue, guys.
It's okay. It's okay.
We got you, bro.
We got you. Holy Savior Menard. Tell us about the Eagles.
I got a chance to see the Eagles during practice on Monday. And the one thing that they're trying to do is replace 15 seniors that they had last season.
Wow.
So that's going to be an interesting thing here for this team, for the Eagles there. But Coach David Perkins is ready for the challenge. They have themselves a very solid quarterback. They got a chance to play in some games last year after Jake Vaughn, his season got cut short a little bit there. But you got Peyton Procell, definitely looks the part as a quarterback. I was talking to Harrison Vapnek of KLB Sports, and we were kind of saying, well, what do you think his measurables look like? And this guy looks like he's 6'3" and about 230 pounds. Definitely looks the part, has a decent spiral, and he's ready to take this thing over as the quarterback for the Eagles this season. Now, of course, you also have T. Sam Bricado as their linebacker. He's another guy that's really returning this season. Big playmaker as a linebacker for this squad here. He can really lay the wood on these teams as well. But, trying to fill out some of those spots. And they're feeling confident about that because now some of these guys are trying to get ready for their turn there. The district is a little bit shorter this year now because in district, I think they're now in 6-2A. You have 3 non-football playing schools. So basically you have only three other schools that play in football, including with them and the Vols. I think Port Barre is one of those teams there. And it has made it a little bit of a challenge there to fill out the schedules in week 6 and week 7. But their goal is still to try to win the district, and their goal is also still to try to host a home playoff game and hopefully try to go a little bit further this time around.
Let's talk about the other team in Alexandria, the Peabody Warhorses, that's now moving up to Division I Select. What are your thoughts, and what does Peabody has for us this season?
Froze again.
It's okay. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3.
Get no more back, ladies and gentlemen.
We appreciate your patience, ladies.
Yes, please. Yes. Yes. We don't usually have this with Lamar, these problems. We really never do. So, but
no, we don't. We don't. We don't.
One of those days. Lamar, you there? All right. All right.
Yes.
Yes.
He's going to be probably one of the players that they lean on towards this season. But, you know, I know for them making the move up is going to be kind of hard there for them. But for Coach Jamar Washington, he kind of had an idea that this was going to be a multi-year thing right here, trying to build up everything here. They have the skill players this season. And I was really impressed by it, looking at their defensive backs and also looking at their wide receivers. They have a young squad of guys that have come up from the middle school ranks and also were freshmen last year that might get some good reps this season. They're probably going to take their lumps this year, but in the years going forward, I think they're going to be a little bit better in this one too. You know, moving up from 4A to 5A here, you know, you're trading, obviously, your Tiogas, your West Washitas, your Franklin Parishes, your Wasmans, you know, facing against those teams there, which, again, no walk in the park there, but you're trading them now to face against Ash and the defending champion in Washita, and also West Monroe and Ruston. You know, those are going to be interesting there, but they're ready for the challenge. They're gonna see how they're gonna do here. I like their non-district schedule is going to be able to kind of give them some rhythm going forward. And if they could win enough non-district games and possibly win their district opener when they face against Pineville in week 6, they have a decent chance of possibly making it to the playoffs if they could sneak in through the back door because of the district being so strong.
Very much agree. That is a really, really tough district that Peabody is going into, and it might be in a little bit of reverse when they get into basketball, but we hope the best for the Peabody football team more than anything else. Final question, I'm gonna pass it back to JB. Outside of the Gina Giants that has a chance to get back in the dome, which team in Sinla that could make a deep playoff run who has a chance to get to the dome or make a real deep playoff run outside of the Gina Giants?
I'm going to go with the Vols Mustangs. I think I really like what they've been building there. Corey Bannister, Coach Bodie, all those guys do a very solid job. But also you have a good playmaker in Kobe Smith who can really get to the quarterback from the defensive line. And I got a chance to see them against Menard last season, and he had about 2.5, 3 sacks. You know, he can definitely get there to the quarterback there. He's a big reason why he's a Raisins Cajuns commitment there. They really like what he's able to do and able to bring there. Now, of course, you do lose some of the guys here like Kevin Pop Jones. You know, he's gone now. But, you know, this is a team that still is able to run the football, play very physical. They're going to give it everything that they have. They love playing for Coach Bannister. And I think that they have a good chance of possibly, if not getting to the second round and maybe getting a little bit further this year.
All right. I passed it to VK. I told him to ask a few. He made it several. You know, he made it several questions.
My bad, brother. My bad. I didn't.
We good, brother. We good. All right, Lamar. I got one school I want to ask you about, then I got some rapid fire questions I'm going to ask you.
Okay, let's go.
I've been hearing a lot about Manny, that maybe Manny may be back to where they were a few years ago winning state championships. What can you tell us about the Manny Tigers?
Hey, this is a good squad here. Tyler Hassel, he's ready to try to bring this Manny Made thing right back here. And we were talking to him last year during one of our kickoff shows here on Thursdays. And, you know, he was excited to be back. He was excited to get a chance to be a head coach and you know, got a chance to get Manny into a good spot here last year where I think they were a first-round casualty last year, but you can see the building blocks that he was building there this season. It all starts with Daniel Thomas, their running back. He had a big game last season. I think he had a 5-touchdown, 6-touchdown game, maybe even a 7-touchdown game this year. But he's one of the top running backs that we have around here in this area. And this is a deep pool of running backs that we do have here. But again, very incredible player that they have. As long as they continue to lean towards him, I think good things will happen for them. And like I said, Manny, they're getting ready to hopefully try to get right back to that level. It may not be to the dome level at this point here, but you can see the blocks being made here. And if they continue under Coach Hassel, they'll probably be there maybe sooner rather than later.
All right, here we go. Rapid fire. Who is the best team in Central Louisiana heading into week 1?
Got to go with Alexandria. Definitely with the players that they have around here, the high hopes that they have around here this season. I think Alexandria is the top team in Central Louisiana.
Which similar team has the best chance to win a state championship?
Let's go with Gina. I mean, I think Gina has a decent chance of possibly getting there. I mean, look, they were at the doorsteps last year. They played a great game against Sterlington. Unfortunately, it kind of fell by the wayside a little bit in that fourth quarter there. But they have the same high hopes again. I think they got that taste last year, and I think that they're ready just to get –
He's coming back, y'all. Sit tight. Hold on. Get Lamar back in a second. You back yet, Lamar?
more this time.
All right. Gina Giants. Look, Lamar, which team is flying under the radar that nobody is talking about?
To have the offer here begin. I think they have a good chance of possibly getting down there, getting at least to the third week, to Thanksgiving week of football. I think they're a good team. Also, Vols is another one of those teams too. I think that a lot of people aren't really talking about those two a good bit here, and I think they're ready to shock some teams here.
All right. Who would you say is the best quarterback in Central Louisiana?
Man, there's a lot of good ones out there. I would probably say Carson Sellers for right now, but Devin Lavallee, he's right there. He's right there. I would probably say it just depends on the preference, what you have. If you like a drop back passer, Carson definitely is going to be your guy. But if you like a playmaker that can really do both ways here, that could throw the ball and also run the football, Lav is your guy right then and there. So I would say they're both right there, 1A, 1B with those two.
All right. Which running backs do the rest of Louisiana know about from your area? I think I know where you're going with this one.
The Williams boys over there at Ash. Man, Noble Williams, we didn't get a chance to see him a lot last year because he was hurt. But, Noble is ready to try to see if he can make a good season this year. And of course, the other guy, Kason Williams, there for Ash. Those two guys, just as a duo right there, they're going to really be a great duo right there. If I had to pick a singular one, though, I would also go with obviously Daniel Hatcher. Looks the part. We've seen him. Looks the part. I feel like a lot of colleges are going to be knocking on his door really soon.
Definitely. Last question. Which rivalry game are you most excited to watch this season in your area?
Man, a lot of good ones. I would probably say we got to go with Gina Marksville. I think this might be the one that probably will determine that district right then and there. We're going to really see here for Marksville, how can they handle against a very solid team like that there. and if Gina is going to run away with this district there too. So I really have to say, that one there. Another one, Menard and Vols. I really like that rivalry. Those two teams always going to bring the lunch pail against each other. It is a Week 10 game this year. It probably will be for a district championship, and it's going to be a snobber locker, as what they always say. JR, as what JR likes to say.
Yes, indeed. Lamar Gafford, our good friend, man. Thank you so much for taking time out your schedule to join us, man. We truly appreciate it, my friend. Always great to have you on our show.
Hey, thank y'all so much. Can't wait to see what's going to happen this season coming forward here as well. And you already know I'm here on the boot breakdown as well. I can't wait.
That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Lamar.
Take care, y'all.
All right. One and only Lamar Gafford. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And then when we come back, I'm going to let VK let the world know what he thinks about the Alexandria Trojans right here on the Hash It Out Show.
Touch me again, you find out who I really am. That's the same attitude I bring to every case. Insurance companies and defense lawyers do not intimidate us. If you want a law firm that fights back, call them in East Law Firm today. 937-839-8529 and book your consultation today.
Style is a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering at-risk youth through mentorship, education, counseling, and life skills development. Style has proudly served the greater New Orleans community for over 13 years. For more information, go to their website, stylesavinglives.com.
Holly Craft Impressions is your one-stop shop for custom apparel, DTF prints, hats, tumblers, and personalized gift for your businesses, schools, teams, and special events. Let us bring your vision to life with high-quality custom creations. Contact us at hollycraftimpressions@gmail.com or 985-607-4301, and be sure to find us on Facebook.
And welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I'm JB the Sports Guy, alongside my good friend, the one and only VK Jones. Mike McMillan of the Northshore Prep Report will be joining us at 8 o'clock. VK Jones, a lot of talk about Alexandria, a lot of talent. A lot of their players going to play D1 football, but they have the most dangerous, scariest running back tandem in the state. As Lamar just said it, Noble and Case and Williams. You saw parts of the spring game against St. Augustine. They got off to a slow start, but they ain't started rolling to where the final score was. They actually beat St. Augustine. They're being talked about a lot as a team that may have a chance to get to the Dome. We've talked about John Curtis, Edna Carr, Catholic, St. Augustine. There's Alexandria as well, VK Jones. What are your thoughts about the Trojans?
Trojans, they bring a lot of experience back, a lot of starters. Those two backs, the Williams boys, they are the real deal. They are the real deal. They run the ball very well, but what helps them a lot is that offensive line being experienced. That is a huge help for the Williams boys to make them do what they're doing and also creating a hole, and also an experienced quarterback that they have as well. That offense could be really, really something this year. And things are going to be maybe in a little bit of a reversal this time. You know, the only thing, you know, they're in the same district, but I think I got to see it. Remember the year they went to the Dome? Yes. That season they had the big wigs, West Monroe and Ruston and all them teams at home. So I'm wondering if their schedule is looking like that.
It has to be. Gotta be.
You know,
it has to be. Gotta be.
Because last season they had to go on the road. All the games they had at home. The year before they went to the Dome, it was in reverse. They had to go on the road. They actually was competitive in a lot of them, and they actually stole one on the road. So, you know, Alexandria this season, and looking at their schedule, like you mentioned, Bryant, that is a really, really tough opponent. They host LCA as well. And you look at it, and yep, except for one, but looking at their schedule, they do host West Monroe. They do host Ruston this year, and that's huge in the district. But also, what's really good, they still have Neville on the schedule on the road in a non-district game, so that's going to really help Alexandria a whole lot. And I tell you, man, but the Alexandria, not just the Alexandria offense, but their defense is the real deal. They are really, really good. You look forward to what they do. If they have a good record going in a non-district and they can get some big wins and have a chance to win the district, these cats could get maybe a top 3 seed, man, and they might do a lot of damage. We keep talking about St. Aug and Curtis, Carr, Catholic of Baton Rouge, just returning all that experience. But Alexandria could get back. They could get back to the dome this year. They could get back if the cards fall right, especially early. They could be the ones to get back.
Yeah, they did have JT Lindsay 2 seasons ago, and now JT Lindsay is at Ole Miss, man. And I can't wait to see what he's going to do at Ole Miss. I'm excited for him. To be honest with you, JT Lindsay at Ole Miss behind Keywan Lacey, though, but that's a good pickup. This Alexandria team, to me, it's a scary team. It's a scary team. They have a lot of talent. I don't think they're getting enough talk about them in comparison to St. Augustine, because we saw what St. Augustine did last year. John Curtis has brought back pretty much the entire team. Catholic is perennial to semifinals and final appearances every year. And of course, Edna Carr being Edna Carr. So I don't think they're getting enough talk about them, but we are noticing the players they have. We start a spring game. So this Alexandria team, to me, is legit, and everybody need to look out for them. Like you said, they have West Monroe and Ruston at home. They even have Opelousas, and we know how good Opelousas is going to be this year, especially the defense that Opelousas had last year and all those guys coming back. That's not going to be an easy test, but this Alexandria team has what it takes to make a run and to get back to the dome.
What week they have Opelousas? What week? I'm looking at this.
Week 5. We got week 5. But these seniors were sophomores 2 years ago. So they were part of that dome team. You know they want to get back to that dome. They want to get back. They feel that they have a great shot to be competing for a state championship, VK Jones, as I pass it back to you.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, great. Like I mentioned, a couple years ago, and I know, looking at the comment, Ruston, they're going to be right there in it. They want to get their redemption this year more than anything else. But the biggest thing we mentioned 2 years ago, then and I ain't gonna lie, that season, if looking at it from that season, and a lot of times, and you looked at the early part of their year, they had a really good start, and the way it was looking, I was like, and I even picked Alexandria for the majority. I actually went 3-0 with them because I kept looking at the games they kept getting better and better on, and I was like, bruh, they got West Monroe at home. They got I think they got Neville at home. They got Ruston at home. I'm like, bruh, when they beat West Monroe and then all of a sudden they beat Neville, I was like, here we go. All of a sudden it came down to it, close game. And all of a sudden they pulled away on Ruston and getting the win and win the district title. So, but at the same time, I think each game is going to be tough. West Monroe is going to be, oh, Lord. We know Ruston's the team to beat. Don't be surprised the West Monroe Rebels might wreck some seasons this year, especially the improvement they made last year. But Alexandria, like I said, they are loaded to bear, and the pressure's on them. The pressure's on them. What they do with what they got.
You know what the crazy thing is right now? We're talking about Alexandria, West Monroe, and Ruston. We're not even saying anything about the defending state champions, who's also in that district. We're not saying anything about Ouachita. Ouachita is your defending state champions, ladies and gentlemen. They're in that district with Alexandria, West Monroe, and Ruston. So do not overlook the defending state champions. Please don't. Not saying you are, VK. Not saying you are, but we know Coach Benji Lewis has gone into administration. He's not the head coach anymore. And I think that has something to do with people not saying too much about Ouachita, but do not forget about the Ouachita Lions, VK Jones.
It's no disrespect to them, and we're not going to forget them, but you have to understand this, okay? There's no disrespect. They are the defending champs. They're going to compete. What I said last year about Ouachita got to show me something.
New head coach, Kenny. New head coach. But I think he was on staff already.
Now, Ouachita had to show me something, and they made a lot of improvements, and they showed it, and they proved everyone wrong. I even picked them to win the state championship against Ruston because I was like, they are hot. But this is the biggest thing about Ouachita, and I'm not trying to disrespect their defending champs, but come on. This is like 3 years ago. I said about STM and about St. Thomas More, and I wound up being dead right late in the season. I said, when you have mass losses, inexperience gonna kick in a lot. For them using Benji Lewis plus 18 starters, that's a lot for a state championship team. Not knocking them. I think Ouachita, they're going to come fired up. They're going to do what they do. They want to prove that last season's not a fluke. I would not be surprised Ouachita can try to make a run again. But can they do it early? I don't know. It's going to be tough with what they lost. It's a lot. Not just a head coach, but 18 starters.
Let me say this. Back to your STM statement. You do remember that they moved up to Division I that year, and that was a quarterfinal team still that lost to Edna Carr, but had Edna Carr down 14-0.
That's true, but still, a lot of games that they did lose that season.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? No. But I understand.
If they stayed in Division II select, it may be a different story than Shaw winning. It may be a different story.
I don't think so. I really don't.
We'll never know.
I really don't. We never know. But I feel that way because we've seen some weakness in that team. I'm just being honest. It's not the same. When you see it, like I say about certain programs, when you see chinks in the armor, it don't look good. So I think STM is starting to really get back to the swing of things now more than anything else. But at the same time, they are really challenged now because after what happened last season, and now that team called Turner's Catholic has got over that hump, now they got to get over the next hump. So, hey, things are changing. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. But we're not going to, but you are right about one thing, my friend. I'm not going to disrespect the Ouachita Lions after what they did last year, but we'll see what happens if they can get something going early. If they do, there'll be a big eye opener more than anything else after everything they lost.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a commercial break. And when we come back, Mike McMillan of the Northshore Prep Report is going to join us and to talk about some Northshore High School football. Y'all don't go anywhere.
If you're looking for the best pizza in Metro New Orleans, then you're in the right place. Moe's Pizza has a great selection of Italian food that can satisfy your appetite, and they can also cater to your needs in any event. Give them a call at 504-341-9650 or log on to www.moespizzanola.com, located at 1112 Avenue H in West Wego, Louisiana. Moe's Pizza, Italians do it better.
JFK Martial Arts offers a wide variety of martial arts programs for kids,
teens, and adults as they empower lives through martial arts. Please give them a call at 985 266 0664, and don't forget to ask about their 1 week free special. Bucks No Wiz was the place to go as a kid growing up to get snowballs. As an adult now, it is still the place to go. When you want some of the best snowballs and some of the best customer service, Bucks No Wiz is the place. Now, excuse me, let me get back to my half grape, half pink lemonade snowball. Bucks No Wiz, located at 1508 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero, Louisiana. And welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB, the sports guy, alongside VK Jones. Our next guest, he worked for the Northshore Prep Report, and he's ready to break it down for us tonight. The one and only, my good friend, or not just mine, VK's too, our good friend, Mike McMillan. What's up, my man? How you doing?
Man, look, I couldn't be more pleased than to be on with you guys. I have to start off. Last night I was listening, and VK accused you of being a River Parish guy, and I am a River Parish guy, right? A Destrehan High School guy, and I wrote this down, and y'all have until week 7 to make a change, but Destrehan will not win that district according to you guys, and I kept the receipt on that. I wrote that down. So we'll follow up around week 5, week 6, and we'll look and see how that looks. Look, that's another district I'm really excited about. Coach Narcisse at Thibodeau and what Terrebonne has going, and that program continuing to rise. When I was there in the 90s, everybody was good all the time. It didn't matter,
Right.
Even HL Bourgeois and that group that's continuing to improve and grow that program. It's always fun to see it. But I'm glad to be on with you guys. Couldn't be more proud of what y'all do and y'all's success. When y'all get up here to the North Shore, it's exciting to see you guys. So hopefully we get a lot more of that coming soon.
Well, I'm just going to tell you this. We got 2 games on the North Shore. Just letting you know that right now. So we got 2 games on the North Shore. We haven't put out the games yet, but we have 2 games on the North Shore. So when we come up there, I'm going to tell you.
Well, look, we got football, and then we'll jump into basketball season, and I know you guys will be up here for the Hannon tournament, so we're excited about that too.
There we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get into it, Mike. I want to start off with this team because I think this team can make a good run in the playoffs. I really do. Even though they're under a first-year new head coach, Coach Bonvillian, that's Lakeshore. What can you tell us about Lakeshore?
Look, Lakeshore is one of those teams that they don't ever really rebuild. Since Coach Craig Jones, who's at Mandeville now, they went to a state championship. They lost a car in that state championship game. He's at Mandeville now. Coach Indes comes in and kind of creates a different culture there and a different type of style of things that they do. But those kids are so resilient, and they do. I'll say this all the time, and people get tired of me saying it about Lakeshore, but they do what they do really, really well. And you know what they're going to do. Now, it's complicated because they run a spread wing T, which will just confuse the heck out of, VK, and you guys might remember, but Rick Gailey back in the St. James day, he was the wing T guy, right?
Yep.
And even at Destrehan, we ran a wing T. South Lafourche ran a different style of wing T. And this is just kind of that evolution of it. They'll spread you out and run some wing T concepts. Their quarterback, Brody Loudermilk, is an absolutely incredible athlete. He's tough as nails. We did that Friday Night Legends thing that we've still got going on, and we featured Christian Westcott, who scored something like 74 touchdowns in a single season, right? He had like 35 rushing and 30-something passing. Brody's not that passer, but he's gotten a lot better in the passing game. I think you'll see Coach Bonvillian put the ball in the air a little bit more, and that's not just because of his style. I think that's who they're going to have and what they're going to have. Their losses, JB, the concerning part for them is going to be defensively. Offensively, they're going to be who they are, and Brody's going to be the bell cow, and that part, they'll get theirs. There were so many guys they lost that played 2 ways last year that were big-time defensive guys, right?
Yeah.
Now, scheme wise, they're one of the best coaching staffs around. But that district 7-4A, for those that don't know, Salmon High School is now in 4A, back in 4A, I shall say, right?
Yeah.
I remember those John Curtis matchup days back in the late 90s and early 2000s. Those were classic. But you've got Salmon in that district, and you also have 2 years ago Franklinton High School was in the Dome with one of the best high school coaches in the state, and Nick Salter-Formaggio, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got three separate teams to the Superdome. Recently Franklinton and Hahnville and East Jefferson before that. So it's a loaded district. It's one that surprises you if you're not from this area. There's a lot of talent, but what Salmon and Franklinton bring athlete-wise, to me, it's the only thing, let's say, east of 55, way east of 55, that matches up with everybody else around the state. Right. Once you get up 55, it's over. My guys against yours will win. I'm good all day. Right. But those two teams athletically, what they can do on the outside is comparable to anything you're going to see anywhere else.
Definitely. Let's keep it right there. You mentioned Franklinton. Tell us a little bit more about Coach Salt's team.
Yeah, so look, they lose quarterback Jacob Crane, who was an absolute legend the last 2 years. Like I said, state champion runner-up his junior year. Last year, they've got the ball ready to go score to go win the game against North DeSoto, right? Yeah. And gave up 46, 50 points, whatever it was. But that was a fist fight. They went back and forth. They replaced him with a kid from Bowling Green, a transfer that comes in, Kirsten Didon. Now, Kirsten's a little bit bigger. He's got a really good arm. What I've heard and seen a little bit from Coach Salt is he's more athletic. So it's going to allow the offense to do a little bit different things. In the backfield, they've got Ricardo Beerus, who's kind of the speedster. They've got another bigger running back, a big body that's going to be able to pound it. But on the outside, they got my man, Jaden Burkhalter. And look, I tell everybody, Easton Royal's a unicorn, okay? So we'll put him in his own little space, right? There's nobody – that guy's different, right? But if somebody told me who I thought the next best receiver in the state was, I would have a hard time not saying Jaden Burkhalter is just as good as anybody else. And I think it's because his routes are really good. His ability to work in space is really good. His hands are fantastic. And while – Coach Salt even brought this up, and he said, hey, if anybody questions his speed, put on the film. See if anybody ever caught him, right? It doesn't happen. But they're going to put him on the outside with a guy who played quarterback last year, Chakeem McClain. Demikes was the receiver last year. Yeah. So Chakeem will move over to wide receiver. Those two will probably play some cornerback as well. But if that defense can come on a little bit, don't be surprised if that's another deep, deep run for Franklinton.
Definitely. I won't be surprised. I think Coach Salt has a good team. Salmon Spartans, what about them?
Coach Tudor's got a squad, man. And I could do this all week because, everybody's got returning quarterbacks, right? And Salmon's another one. Dejon Howard, you saw what he did last year. He put up almost 2,000 and 1,000, and he could have ran for 1,000. He'll run for 1,000 this year. Knock on wood, he stays healthy, but Coach Tudor trusts that part of his game a little bit more for him to run it. They've got, they were. I won't say they didn't have an identity last year, but early in the year, Jimmy Chansey was a 220-pound running back, and I joked all the time and said if Jimmy ever wanted to avoid somebody, he'd have ran for 2,000 yards. But Jimmy saw a different colored jersey and he wanted to run it over, right? So they had kind of this power running game on the inside, and Dejon kind of doing his thing with some speeds and sprints and waggles. Now they've got a new running back in Corday Harris. You're going to see some real highlight stuff from Corday. He's a speed guy. They've got a big-time receiver coming back. The big thing for them, and I don't think it's any secret up here, and it probably has been the case for the last few years, is offensive and defensive line can they play at that level to support everybody else? Now, Coach Tudor offensively, his offensive coordinator, Dennis Johnson's phenomenal. They do a great job. I got to see it in his office, and I love it. It's not complicated, but they're very sophisticated in what they do and how they do it. Offensively, they're going to score points. They lost some kids on defense last year, but they've got some really good ones coming up. It's Salmon High School, man. Sophomores look like juniors and juniors look like seniors. So they're going to be just fine. They've got a great coaching staff, and I'm excited to see what they do in the 4A level now, right? And Coach Tudor said it. They won District 7 5A last year as a 4A school. Their enrollment was the same, right? Yeah. They just finally got reshuffled where they needed to be. But extremely talented team.
Let's go to 5A football right quick. And the entire North Shore is all back together. There's no more split. And St. Paul's has been the standard pretty much when they all were together. Now, Coach Kenny Sears has retired, brand new head coach. What can we expect from the St. Paul's Wolves this season?
Well, it's going to look different, right? And Coach Gass played at St. Paul's, right, under Coach Sears. But it will look different. When Coach Sears was there, they were kind of this pro style offense. They ran, I formation. They'd get in pro set sometimes. You're going to see them spread the ball out now, right? They're going to be in spread. They've got a fantastic offensive line. Y'all see Andrew Schaufstyle, who recently got the LSU offer. Yep. He's got offers out of the world. Alan Faneca, his son Burton Faneca is there as well. He looks like it. He looks like his dad is Alan Faneca. And he's a sophomore. He's going to be really good. Their offensive line is always good. They've always had good stuff there. I think early in the year, I'll be interested to see what they do offensively. Their quarterback, Brady Pearson, is a very talented athlete. He throws the ball well on the run. He's not a real tall guy, so they got to get him out the pocket. But that's pretty normal in high school football anyway. I tell people that all the time. You don't have to be a 6'1" quarterback in high school. There's some ways they can scheme that. They've got some athletes on the outside offensively that I think maybe will pop a little bit that didn't in the past because of the type of the offense they're in. And then defensively, they lost two really good ones. Gage Brown, a defensive lineman at Southeastern. Dylan Post, all-district linebacker, district MVP linebacker. He's at Southeastern, right? They lose those two guys. Aiden Brooks, who's been a staple at safety, is gone. But they've got some kids that they're going to replace. Adam Connell is a name to keep an eye on. He'll be a bit of a two-way guy. He's a fullback, H-back, tight end. Probably can line up at tailback when they need him to, but he'll play linebacker as well. And then Christian Martin, who is Martin and Payne. Those were the two corners last year. Christian Martin will be a really good corner. Payne's going to move to safety to let him roam a little bit more, which, coaches over there think that's going to help him kind of play at the next level anyway. And then another name to keep an eye on is Charlie Kingria. He's going to play running back. He came to our showcase, really showed some ability to make some cuts, and he's a big kid. He's 200 pounds, run a 4.5 40.
Wow. Before I pass it to VK Jones, I want to talk about the Hammond Tornadoes. And last season, we've seen Hammond. We saw him in person. And it looks like there's a lot of improvement within that football program on the rise. What can you say about this team heading into this season?
Look, that's, they are led by one of the finer men in the state of Louisiana as a high school football coach in Dorset Buckles.
Yes.
Played at Amite High School, played at LSU. He's fantastic. He's everything that program needed and has now, and he's continued to build it. They got a little bit of a gut punch in the offseason. They lost some kids. Y'all talked about Alexandria earlier. There's a kid, Reginald Monroe. His name is Donut. My buddy, man. I love Donut. I'm sad. I'm gonna have to make a trip up just to see Donut. He's one of the only kids I could interview eye to eye, so I'm upset that my boy Donut left. But they return a 4-year starting quarterback in Taryn Jones, who is a talented athletic kid. They've got a defensive end, Alante Beauchamp, who's got some offers. He's been a tackle for loss and sack machine for the last 3 years. Every time I look up his stats, I don't quite think Dennis Johnson, but I'm kind of astonished by the amount of numbers that he's put up from the defensive line at Hammond High School. But he's fantastic. I'm interested to see who they have step up, but I'll say that what Coach Buckles has done over the last few years to create that culture in that program, and look, it wasn't a secret up here. That win against Mandeville last year was a program-defining win.
Agreed.
And look, Mandeville didn't do some things right in that game, but neither did Hammond. And they found a way to win. And sometimes when you're building programs and you want that culture to be what you want it to be, winning ugly is sometimes what you need, right?
That's right.
You can go beat teams that you're better than, but when you can win an ugly one, it helps. So they're learning to win there, and I think that culture says, "Hey, we can win. We're Hammond. We can go beat anybody." And they're gonna give everybody a run for their money like they always do. But don't be surprised to see them do exactly what they did last year.
Mike, man, it's good to have you on the show and everything. I gotta ask you this right quick before we really get into it, man. Is there a possibility could you get some context on Alan Faneca? We would love to have him on our show.
I'll set you up. We'll take care of you. And look, I'll tell you this, guys. I'll get with you guys offline. We've got some stuff coming up here on the North Shore that we'd love to have you be a part of.
Definitely
come up here and do some stuff with you. But it's a community up here that you guys know why I started this. I just felt like the area up here was just under not valued, right? It wasn't covered as much. And honestly, I mean, you don't have to get out of New Orleans to have more coverage than you can imagine anyway, right? So, but given exposure up here has really enlightened me as well to some people that have had a huge impact on high school athletics just in this area that we want to get back to. Look, I'll tell you another one from up here that'll shock you a little bit, but there's a kid, Carter Curry, that was at North Lake Christian last year. He's at Mandeville now. He's a senior. He might play football, but he's a soccer kid. His dad, and when I coached him, and I found out his dad was Ronald Curry, the Ronald Curry. And look, I tell people all the time, I don't think of Ronald Curry of the Saints at all.
Right.
When I think of Ronald Curry, it's Tar Heel Blue. Like, he was that guy. He was the point guard and the starting quarterback, and he wore number 1.
Yes.
And he was the guy. Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of that stuff up here, and then I mean, shoot, you skip over and head up 55. There's enough stories between Independence, Meade, Kentwood, Jules Sumner, St. Helena. I mean, it's a metropolis in its own piece, right? And I'm blessed to be able to cover it and get some more stuff from up here and give all these people some exposure. But I'd love to have you be part of it for sure.
Definitely, brother. You got that. Definitely.
Absolutely. So let me start with you, get into the action here. Let's start with a team that has been coming up the last couple years and made a great run, came up a little short in the state quarterfinals. Jules Sumner, what we expect from the Cowboys this year?
All of it. They lose 2 extremely talented kids. Jamon Dyson, who was their running back last year, and they run that wing T concept too. And they lost Colin Mack, who's a defensive end that was really, really good for them. Jeremiah Brooks, they lose him too. They lost some offensive linemen, but Coach Career, there's not many programs in the state over the last 2 years that have won more games than Jules Sumner. And that game last year against Calvary Baptist, I talked to him 2 weeks ago. I still don't know how they didn't win the game. Like I was just waiting for that moment, right? It was you were waiting for the 60-yard run. You were waiting for that waggle to pop open and hit them, and because once they got the lead, it was going to be over, right? Yeah. And defensively, they really shut down Calvary in the air. The running back from Calvary kind of hurt him early in the game, but they're going to reload. They've got a kid, Rylan James. If you know anything from this area, he's been at LaRondra High School. He tore his ACL last year. from what it looks like, he's going to be fully healthy, and he's the real deal, guys. like when I tell you he's the real deal, you're going to see a little bit different of what he can do. And he was great at Laranja, but you're going to see a different him. There's another running back. His name's Brown. Fantastic speedster. Was a sophomore last year. Played a lot. It's Jules Sumner. They're going to have athletes and they're going to have size. And what Coach Career does and the way that he runs that program, I'll tell you something really cool that they do there that a lot of programs don't do. Because as sports people, we thrive on stats, right? And I love getting stats and putting them together. Y'all see what we put out, right? They have an offensive lineman of the week during the week, and he'll send it to me and say, hey, put this out. Here's our offensive lineman of the week. And I love it. But that's who they are. They built a culture. They've got a phenomenal weightlifting program there. And look, you talked about Curtis earlier, right? Curtis is never Curtis without the weight program that they had in the 80s, right? They were lifting before everybody else was lifting, and they were lifting in a different way. And that's a little bit of what Jules Sumner has there. But they're going to be fantastic once again. Don't be surprised if you see them late in the season.
Very unique stadium that they have over there with the Cowboys. It was great to be there, and Coach Career, I mean, we appreciate him, and the hospitality was awesome. And I ain't gonna lie, it was a couple missed opportunities. I was most shocked that Calvary won that type of game, and I was like, wow. And that one pass really told that one drive when they drove all the way down and quarterback just missed him, because if he catches it, he's in the end zone and cutting that lead. That was just it was a crazy, crazy night.
Oh yeah, it was wild. And I was actually out of town for that night, and I had like iPads and computers everywhere, and it was the Franklinton North DeSoto game was going on at the same time, right? And those were our two teams that were left, and I'm like, we're gonna have two teams in the dome. Like that's what was going to happen. And they were two completely different style teams, right? Or games. There was a shootout over here, and it was everybody's punching each other in the mouth over here, but it was fun to watch.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit of team not too far in that area, the A-Meet Warriors. What you expect from the A-Meet Warriors coming up this year in A-Meet City?
Look, I'll say this: out of all the coaches in the state, I don't know if Coach Powell isn't the most underappreciated coach that there is. Like he's always in the dome, like just book the hotel. They were, I won't say they were down last year, but they obviously didn't reach their goals that they wanted to reach. They're an extremely talented team. I think for A-Meet, it's always a depth thing, right? It's a small school, they don't have a lot of kids. It's a two-way school for a reason. So for them now in 2A, right? They return a running back from last year, Jamiron Dillon. Fantastic. You can tell me, I'll tell you who he reminds me of, but I'm not going to say it to that level because people would throw stuff at me, right? But he's about 5'7", maybe, right? He's about 185, 190 pounds, and he's quick, and he's going to play quarterback this year, right? And he can throw it a little bit. Chiron Carey did a little bit of that in Shaw too, right? And that was okay. But he does remind me of that. He doesn't have the runaway that Shy had, but he's a little more power guy, but he's built for it. They get a kid from Laranja, Tydarius Holland. Tydarius Holland's a big recruit, multiple Division I stuff. He played wide receiver last year. He's going to play running back for them this year. They got Jalen Haywood, the biggest man on the North Shore. He's I had it the other day. I think he's 6'7", 3. He keeps losing weight, right? Which is good. He keeps working hard. He wants to lose weight, but he's heading to Texas State. It's a great opportunity for that young man. They'll have multiple kids that'll go to college. I always say I don't really care who Coach Powell has. He's going to figure it out, and by the time the end of the season comes, he's going to have his kids playing the way they need to play. And when you listen to our show, we say it all the time. If you have not been to A-Meet City in the playoffs, you've got to make it. you've got to make it. It is one of the most fantastic places to be, and that place loves their football.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. We went to the Kentwood game 2 years ago, and JB was amazed, and I've been there many a times. And I was like, bro, I told you, bro, AB, go down. You got to get one, man. And
Well,
it was great to get that rivalry again.
Oh yeah, and I have to say, I have to mention a young man, Braylon Taylor. Coach Powell talks about all the time, but he's that next one that's going to be on the cover of some magazine somewhere. He's a big time talented kid.
Let's talk about the Kentwood Kangaroos. What does the Kangaroos have this season under Coach Blunt in year number 3?
I'll tell you one of the best compliments you can have as a coach, and I'm pulling something up here because I want to look at it. But one of the best compliments you can have is what other coaches say about you. Coach Career and Jules Sumner will play Kentwood early in the year, and he said of all the teams they play this year, that might be the scariest one. He said they've got 19 kids, something like 19 seniors, which for Kentwood, that's big.
Yeah.
And he said they will be the fastest team that they face this year.
Wow.
Now, look, they play Franklinton and they play Pine and they play some of those teams that have some speed. So when you hear him say that, I don't think you have to hear anything else about who they are.
Agreed.
But yeah, they're going to once again be in that mix. It's the same thing. It's, we joke all the time about Southeastern. We say, man, you don't have to go anywhere. Just go up 55 and down 55, and you can get whatever athletes you want.
Yeah, the truth.
Yeah, look for the Kangaroos to make a deep run. They've got some really talented returning kids coming back. In fact, the Under the Lights guys just shot me a message earlier today and said, hey, can you tell me about Kentwood and who they got coming back? I said, I'll get you a list.
That boy Jordan be on that phone. He texted me yesterday. Patrick Taylor, man.
Jordan's working.
Yes.
Jordan worked those phones and everything else, man. He's a whole fool. Gotta love Jordan Taylor, man.
Well, and look, it's kudos to him. It's kudos to you guys and anybody in this space. I see what you guys do in the grind that you have to have just to have partners and sponsorships, right? But people don't understand. Nobody does this to drive Bentleys, right? Everybody that does this, we just love the game, right? Yes. And if anything, for me, I'm not coaching this year. Last year took its toll on me coaching and doing this and my real job at the same time. But just the ability to impact kids and be involved in so many programs, it scratches the coaching itch, really. I mean, that's what I tell people all the time. You're involved in a different way, but you're still involved.
Very much agreed. I'll tell you one thing. A-Meet, we know the program has been through some things, but you look at it, the district has been tough. And one reason why the district has been tough, this team, the Pine Raiders, what you expect from Pine this year. That's been a very good program that has just been on the cusp and right there in that district championship race.
Look, that's Coach Bradley Seal at Pine. He's one of the best. A lot of people don't realize he's the old man now in the group. When we come interview him, he looks like he's 28 years old, right? And we talk to him. I absolutely love what they're doing this year. They're one of the few teams. We talked about St. Paul's doing this. St. Paul's was a little bit more pro style run team. They're going to spread some things out. Pine has switched to a spread offense this year. And Pine conventionally has been that wing T base, right? Yeah. Now they'll run fires and they threw the ball a little bit more. They would get in shotgun some, but they're going to be a spread team solely because Coach Seal feels like he's got some kids that are 4'4", 4'5" kids that he can get in space. And in that district and in 2A, look, you don't need a lot of them. You can run away from some of them, right? Yeah. But they've got Cooper Thomas is going to be their running back. He's a legit 4'6" guy, which gives them in that offense in a spread. Obviously the hardest thing to defend as a defense is a running quarterback in a spread offense because you don't plan on accounting for that guy the entire time, right? So when you scheme it, and now you're running motions, and they're gonna do a lot of the stuff that I think you see Lakeshore do. where they run a lot of wing T motion concept stuff to get eyes moving, and their quarterback will be a runner as well. But they're going to be able to throw the ball a little bit and get kids in space. We scrimmaged Pine last year. It was my first time there. And I remember getting on the bus and looking at somebody, and I was like, how do they ever lose? Like, I don't know how they lose at Pine. They're really talented. They're big. They've got great depth. And Coach Seal, once again, he's one of the best coaches around. They're moving down into 9-2A. They're in that district with a meet. They're in that district with North Lake Christian. Pope John Paul is now up in 3A. They're in a different district. We haven't even talked about St. Helena, right? But yeah. I mean, that district, I talked to St. Helena's coach the other day, and we're texting back and forth, and St. Helena plays a meet in week 10.
Ooh.
I'm just going to say St. Helena plays a meet in week 10, right? It'll look like a good one. Now, I think Pine will have a lot to say about that, but it's going to be a phenomenal district. And look, St. Thomas Aquinas in that district as well. That's a program that's been down. Boomer Nunez takes over last year. They don't have a good season, but they build the roster a little bit. Now they built the roster a little bit more. Look for those guys to be competitive as well, right? But it's a fun district.
Wow. You mentioned St. Helena. Goodness gracious. All I'm going to tell you, probably one of the most improved. They all been a good program, but we're shocked because the fact, you know who the coach is, JB?
If you don't know DeCarlos Holmes,
yeah, that coach WestJet 2 years ago.
Oh yeah,
my God, what a turn! We never questioned how good of a coach we never did. We know the experience he has. We knew it was going to be a tough go when he coached at West Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
But for him to leave from there and to do what he's doing now at St. Helena, it's like. And knowing that he has experience back, wow, this could be huge for not just St. Helena, but for his tenure.
Oh yeah, and look, this is the year. They've got a receiver in TJ Dorsey, who is another one. He's got multiple big time Division I offers. He can absolutely go get it. They lost a Darian Baker. He's at Pearl River Community College now. He was our player of the year last year. Darren Baker was phenomenal two-way. I think he might have had 100 tackles and 1,200 yards receiving. I laugh a little bit because what they did last year with him, I felt like they put him at middle linebacker about 10 yards off the ball and just let him kill everybody. And he was a big physical one. But his little brother, Myron Baker, who set the St. Helena passing yardage record last year, returns only as a junior this year. He can scoot. He's another one that probably runs 21 miles an hour, when you put the stuff on him. He's got legitimate speed when he wants to, but he's very, very comfortable in the pocket. His progression and reads are really good. He's easy to look at and say, okay, you got an athlete back there. I'll say this. I am more impressed with his pocket presence and being a pocket passer than anything else. He can run when he wants to, and he's a very good athlete, but he's got great arm talent. He reads defenses really well. He makes really good throws and puts it in good spots. And then look, it's St. Helena. They're going to have kids on the offensive and defensive line that are going to be big and strong and get after it. I tell people all the time, my biggest shock, maybe a top 10 moment in my life. I go up to St. Helena to cover a basketball tournament. I walk in, and I have never seen so many people with cowboy boots and belt buckles and starched jeans. And it was the nicest group of people I've ever been around in my life. It was an incredible environment. And that's another one. If you haven't been there for a basketball game, go check that place out. It's a fun. It's a really neat court. Everything's raised. They got the high walls. They do a great job. There's a DJ. It's a great place to be. But look for Coach Holmes, who I think is one of the best coaches around, to once again have his team ready. I think if last year's team was year 3 for him, they probably go farther. I think he's still trying to instill some things program-wise, culture-wise, we call them the non-negotiables, right? But what are his non-negotiables that he can get? Hey, can I get all my kids to 7-on-7? Can I get everybody to practice? Can everybody get to workouts? If they do what he wants them to do, they book hotel rooms.
Absolutely. Last question. I'm gonna pass it back to JB. You know what I'm saying? That we know we still got a lot on the North Shore. I know JB, you got still got some questions. Covington Lions. What we have this year for Coach Greg Salter and the Lions of Covington.
Look, last year after week 2, I was extremely high on them, and I'll say I think they underachieved last year. I thought. Now, there were some reasons, right? Their offensive line was all new, and those kids were kind of trying to gel. Matthew Fussell, who won that starting quarterback job going into the season, really good athlete with a good arm. He's a baseball player too. He ends up hurting his groin. So he's a different type of player behind an offensive line that's inexperienced. And they didn't have, they had a kid, Mike Pompa, who's at Millsaps now playing running back, but they didn't have that classic Covington running back that had the breakaway stuff. But they had some really talented kids on the outside. The problem is if your quarterback can't create time and your offensive line is still gelling and they're trying to get assignments down, your receivers don't really get to show what they can do. Well, now this year, guess what? That entire offensive line is back. They've got some more guys to it. Fussell is healthy. They've got one of the best wide receivers committed to South Alabama, Brashawn Weary. He's fantastic. He can take the top off of defense. He can go get it. He runs over the middle. I'll be interested. I think the key for them, VK, is going to be how do they create a running game outside of their quarterback being the running threat, right? Because when you're a spread team and you don't give people reasons to respect the run game from the running back, it's easier to defend, right? Now, that's offensively. Defensively, I don't know that there's a better defense on the North Shore than Covington this year. Derek Dunbar, who's a South Shore kid, come up here a couple years ago. He's a linebacker. He wears number 33. And I only have to tell you that. Just when you go watch pregame, you're going to go, who's that?
VK, right? You know who that is. You know who number 33 is. You know who that is. And I'm surprised his daddy is not even on right now.
That's what I'm wondering. So Derek, I'm wondering. As soon as you said it, I was like, man.
He must not have seen that we were on because he's a big supporter too.
He come on late usually. He comes on a little late.
Well, look, Derek comes to our showcase, right? And I knew Derek was a player. I watched film. Like he's that guy. He ran a 4.40. He's 6'1", 220 pounds. Look, he covered receivers at our showcase, and we had, Ethan Kimmy from Zachary. We had CJ DeLeon from Dunham. We had Burkhalter. That we had all these kids. He's playing corner. He's covering these guys. He's covering Ricardo Burris out the backfield and just blanketing him, right? He's a talented kid. He's a very, very talented kid. I know he's got some offers. I think he's still sorting some things out, but their defensive line, gosh, dog, I could name all of Peyton Turner and Max Guy, and they've got Steele Rogers coming back at running back, who had 96 tackles, 94 tackles, something like that last year. Their secondary is once again going to be very good. They returned 2 safeties, Caden Antoine, who's a baseball kid. He looks the part. He's like, I would tell Coach, hey, we'll just go with the old John Curtis style. We go with the shells to get off the bus. Caden Antoine first. Like you get off the bus first. He's a chiseled kid. But him, Cameron Johnson, who can play some corner slot as well, but he's gonna be a safety as well. And we've got some younger guys filling in on the corners. But I always think in high school football, at least defensively, I always say, what do you have in levels, right? You have to have some stability at each level. You can't be weak in one level. It'll find you real quick. And they've got stability in all 3 levels. They've got a great coaching staff. I think they got 143,000 kids on the football roster right now. Like I went to a practice last year and I was so embarrassed. it was a Thursday practice, right? So they're doing pregame and they're doing special teams. I think they ran their third kickoff team out, to do that. And I'm thinking, you got enough kids to run 3 kickoff teams, but they got it, man. And look, they also returned their kicker, which is a big one because, I think it's an undervalued spot. You guys see it all the time.
Yeah.
Not so much that game-winning field goal or needing to get in field goal position. I'll be honest with you. It's can you put 7 points on the board instead of 6? Because when you can't, it always catches up to you. It seems like it always catches up to you, right?
Right.
And I'll tell people, gosh, this had to be, man, it was mid-2000s. Tyrann Mathieu was at St. Aug, and they hosted West Monroe at Tad Gorman. And I remember going to that game, and I still to this day said if they could have kicked an extra point, they win the game. They win the game. They just kept – if they could have kicked a 20-yard field goal, they win the game. They just kept falling behind on numbers of getting that single point up there. But, that was when, I went, oh, okay, that 3-star guy that they're recruiting, he really is that guy.
Yeah. But check this out. We talk about Derek, and we said it's shocking that his dad isn't on here. Well, his dad just showed up. See, there he is.
Look at that. Look at that. My guy.
I do it.
There he is.
Better late than never, man.
And look, I hope he didn't miss it because he's probably going to say, what'd you say about Derek? Well, look, just play it. I promise you it was good.
Got to go back and watch it.
He's gonna go back and watch the replay. Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
All good stuff about his son.
Look, and everybody else is going to go, Mike, he can't be that good. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, put it up. And look, the biggest thing he did last year, and I remember, I think about it still today, was the Franklinton game. Franklin has the ball at the end zone. They roll out, and he closes the distance and sacks. I think it was Jacob Crane, but he sacks him to win the game. I mean, he's everything you want in a linebacker at the Division I level. He can play in space. He can be physical. He's a good kid. He's tough. I'm glad he's up here.
Definitely. Mike, I got two more for you because we could talk about a lot of North Shore teams, but I got 2 more for you. Slidell Tigers. What can you say about them? I know they got to open up with Carl the Jamboree. Yeah,
well, that'll tell you where you're not good at real quick, right? And look, Coach Page, another one. I talked about Coach Buckles being one of the finer men. Coach Page has really grabbed a hold of that program, and the we over me thing really is true there. He was not satisfied with last year. And look, week 4, week 5 last year, Slidell was a talk of the town.
Yeah.
I mean, they were doing some things, and they will do it again this year. Now they lose offensive coordinator Bonifans. I think he went to Warren Easton, I believe. But Coach Kavanaugh, who's the head coach at Fontainebleau last year, is the new offensive coordinator. Coach Page has been very pleased with him. Their quarterback, Ricky Williams, is one of the best athletes up here.
Yes, he is.
Jaquan Jones, I don't have to tell anybody about Jaquan Jones. I'm tired of talking about Jaquan Jones. If y'all don't know about him, I'm sorry. He ran 1,800 yards last year, right? There's not many people in the state that ran for 1,800 yards last year. That's just the reality of it. Now, he's probably one of their best receivers with best hands and route running ability. So Coach loves that about him. Mike Williams, a wide receiver, is a big time kid. One of the hardest workers around. Now they lose, Birdlow, the slot tight end, the flex that's going to go to UL Lafayette, and they lose Carlos Flemings, who is a real speedster. So I think you'll see more out of Mike Williams. They've got an offensive and defensive line that are going to be very competitive, and they return some guys there. I think the intriguing thing for me to see out of them, especially early, because I think this is one of these things you have to figure out early, or for all intents and purposes, it bites you in the ass as you get further down the year, right? Yeah. Is Stanley Lang started 3 games for them last year. Ricky was out. Stanley came in and performed well. Well, now I won't say it's a quarterback battle. Ricky did his thing, but Stanley's very talented, and they want to be able to move Ricky around to get him the ball in some different spaces.
Yeah.
Well, to me, it's I feel like there has to be some structure and some organization to it, and you can't, and they will, right? But that's the thing that I'm looking forward to the most. How did they do that? Because one of the things Coach Page talked about was he wasn't pleased with last year and how it ended. He felt like they left plays on the field. So he wants to get his best guys on the field, right? And he said, I talked to my senior group. I don't want to look on the sideline and see seniors standing next to me. Y'all have to be on the field. I don't care if we're on offense or defense. So you're going to see Ricky Williams playing some defense. You're going to see Stanley Lang playing some defense, right? But for them, I think it's going to be a lot of the same thing last year. I liked, the Mandeville game. They beat Mandeville. There was another one that beat Mandeville. It was a big one.
Yeah.
I think how they did it is a sign of what needs to happen. They didn't just spread it out and just go score 50 points. They played a little bit of ball control. They ran the ball a lot that day. I think that's the recipe for them. They're going to have to find ways to eliminate big chunk plays on defense. And they're going to have to just eliminate giving up big points, right? You can't get into that every night. If you go watch the Josh Preston, who I think is one of the most phenomenal videographers around, I like his film is art, right? Like whatever he does, he is Spike Lee behind that thing. He is incredible. But he did, I think it was the Warren Eastern Slidell game last year. It might have been that one, but that game was a shootout.
Yeah.
It was in the 50s. But always fun. Slidell, when that place is rocking, it's fun. And now, being back here in District 6-5A and being back in the district with the, Covingtons and St. Paul's and Ponchatoula's and Hammond, it's going to be fun.
Definitely. Last one, you mentioned them, the Mandeville Skippers. They got to the second round of the playoffs, didn't go the way that they wanted it to, but here we are, new season. What can you say about the Skippers?
Well, look, I'll say this. I think before the season, if I told you they're going to have a freshman quarterback in 5A and they're going to go to the third round of the playoffs, would that be a successful season? I think everybody would say yes, right? The thing that I was most impressed with is they had to do everything on the fly, JB. They lose Ben Hendricks in week 1. Ben Hendricks ran for 200 yards against Salmon, right? Yep. And now you got this freshman quarterback coming in. I think they were still trying to figure out who they were offensively. They figured it out towards the end, which every good team does, right? But you've got to be able to get there. For them this year, they've got – you always say you have to have ingredients, right? But they've got a great coach who's been there before. Their staff kind of stays together. They do everything. Their quarterback, he's not a sophomore. He played 13 varsity games,
yes,
right? And he's a big, strong kid. He'll be fine. I think everyone knows about their receivers, right? Jake Giacchetti and Luke DeMello on the outside are really good. They got 2 really talented tight ends and Captain Best and Landon Lips. All these guys have offers, right? For me, it's going to be a little bit like we talked about with Covington. Who and how do you run the ball outside of Crew Calora? Now, a young man to watch is Krishawn McCullum. During baseball season, everybody knew who Krishawn McCullum was as a freshman at Mandeville. I think he hit 8 or 9 home runs. He's a very talented kid, but he's going to be really good. They've got a bunch of kids in that mix to play running back, but I think somebody has to take control of it. Lejeune, Estep, Cole, one of those, in Krishawn McCullum, right? I think you're going to see somebody take it. I think what people don't know is their offensive line is going to be really good. They've got a lot of size and they've got depth, so they can do some different things. They might even be able to play a third tackle, right? But they got tight ends too that can block. So offensively, I really like it. Dylan Henry, who is another South Alabama commit, he's a cornerback. He'll play probably more hybrid safety this year.
I heard him play some wide receiver also this year.
He's going to play some offense too. That's right. That's right. And look, I'll say I think what that offense lacked a little bit was the ability to take the top off of a defense. and get everybody back, right? Because you probably don't need that extremely talented running back when you can use the short passing game as an extension of your run game, right?
Yeah.
But they've got to respect you deep to do that, right?
That's correct.
Everybody can't be in cover one and your short game just doesn't work, right? But they showed they could do it. They did it against Neville. They were in 5 wide almost all night. It was crazy. And outside of a couple plays, they won that game. And I thought their defense improved throughout the year. I think the big thing for them this year is going to be, I think they're going to score points. I think they're going to be completely fine offensively. I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of the better teams offensively in the state. Your defense doesn't have to be great when you have that kind of offense, but you have to make stops. You have to force some 3 and outs. You can't let long drives happen that result in points, right?
Correct.
Or at least in 6 and 7 points. Make stops and make people kick field goals because you're going to score touchdowns. And then for me, I think when you're in 5A, you've got to have a really good special teams, and they have over the years, right? But I think you're going to find that they're going to find ways to get. I mean, to me, if I can get Dylan Henry the ball in his hands, however many ways I can do it, it's what's happening, right?
Yes, correct.
I think that's their goal of him playing offense, and I also believe that's more the thought of him kind of in that safety role is he can be more free, right? He can kind of do some things that that he doesn't have to be strict in coverage. I mean, if you've got one cornerback that's very talented and he takes away one side of the field, fine. I'll just play on the other side of the field all day.
Right.
I'll avoid him all day. I don't care. Right. So I think they're going to be able to move him around defensively and be able to make some things happen. So they're an exciting one. And look, I know we didn't talk about Ponchatoula, but if there's a sleeper in the area and maybe in 5A, it might be Ponchatoula. There's a kid, Will Walker, there who is the guy. He's when you think of those great Ponchatoula kids, he looks just like it. He runs just like it. He lifts just like it. He plays like it. Their quarterback, Jackson Oquan, missed a couple games last year with a concussion, but he's back. Coach Kenny Sears, who was at St. Paul's, is the run game coordinator at Ponchatoula.
Okay.
So guess what? That run game is going to look a little bit different, and they've got some young running backs that they're very high on. The thing that I'm impressed with, and Covington talks about it, Mandeville talks about it, nobody wants to play Ponchatoula ever because they're so physical and they're always so talented. If Coach Schaefer gets his system in place and those kids buy in time, don't be surprised to see the Green Wave making some splashes. I wouldn't be surprised if they get a little bit of the pub like Slidell did last year, first few weeks of the season.
Most definitely. Before we go, if anybody want to get some information about some Northshore teams or even other teams you've have done articles about, where can they go to find it?
Well, look, you can find us anywhere. We're online at NorthshorePrepReport.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. You can find us everywhere. And I will say I'm very pleased to say that we are expanding our coverage. We're not doing it because I think we need to. I want to do it because I feel like if we can give some more exposure to other areas too, then it's good for everybody.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And I think this area of the Southeast Louisiana is such a mix of so many talented kids. And I'm not talking about football. I mean, we got volleyball and basketball. And look, I was just talking to Coach Goff about the hand and basketball tournament the other day, and I'm like, I can't wait. We got Johnny Walker and John Curtis coming up again. Right?
Yes.
So I'm excited about that. And then the same thing with the baseball side. We got to cover some of those teams in the summer and getting to get those kids involved is really good. But I just want to make sure, JB, that everything that we do well. I don't want to do things that we don't do. So for me, we focus on kids, coaches, communities, right? And if we just do those 3 things really well, then we'll be fine. And I couldn't be more pleased to. It's people like you, it's people in the community that have supported us, that have allowed us to grow where we are. But yeah, back to your question, you can just Google. We use the Indiana's coach. They just Google us. You'll find. You'll find it, right? And look, what's crazy is now, and you guys get this. You're statewide, right?
Right.
You're doing stuff all over the place, and you got you guys had some really big time people on recently, which is pretty impressive. I'm proud of it. But I'll have people from North Louisiana say, "Hey, can you put this thing out on me? I'm gonna commit," and I just have to say, "Look, unfortunately, right now, no." Right. But congrats. I'm proud of you. But I want to make sure that our kids in this area get the most coverage that we can give them. And we've got some really exciting stuff that'll be coming out here in the next month before football season. No, we're not going to stream games. It's not a piece that I think that we can be in. I think people do it really well, like yourself and Jordan and those folks. Right. So if we can just pick up the other coverage and make sure that stuff's going really well, we're excited about it. And then, obviously I talked to you guys, but look forward to having you up here, a lot this year, hopefully. Definitely. Hopefully, deep in the playoffs, you have to come up.
We would have for the Joel Summer game against Calvary. We would have, but it just depends how things line up. And we'll go from there. But
yeah. And look, I'm excited because obviously the Catholic League's a big one, right? But River Parish, I'm a River Parish guy, so that that's always easy, right? So. Destrehan, Hanville, Lutcher, St. Charles, Riverside, Riverside's underappreciated as heck.
They're state champions.
Yeah. But then, you look at the schools like John F. Kennedy, extremely talented.
Yes.
I don't want Warren Easton to fall off the map just from a coverage standpoint, just because they're not in the Catholic League. So, we got to make sure we give those guys their flowers, and, Chalmette getting in there. That'll be interesting. I think, everybody said, "Oh, poor Chalmette. I can't believe they did that to Chalmette." Chalmette's going to be fine.
They'll be
fine. 100 kids on the roster and the best football facility in the state. It's
for real.
They're going to be okay. Yeah. And Coach Tucker's done it before. They were in the Catholic League before. People act like it never happened,
Right.
So it's going to be fun. And then shoot, we didn't even talk about Shaw on the other side of the river, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's an area that we could sit here and talk till 2 a.m, brother.
We could. My man. My good friend Mike McMillan, man. Thank you so much for joining us, man. This was a lot of fun, man. We truly, truly appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you, JB. And look, once again, I'm proud of you guys. Y'all keep it up. I hope to be on more, and same thing, vice versa.
Definitely.
Anything we can do to cover our area, we are more glad to help out.
You got it, brother. Same here, man. Thank you, bro.
Thanks, JB.
All right. One and only Mike McMillan of Northshore Prep Report, ladies and gentlemen. So thankful for that guy. And like he said, man, he felt as if the coverage in the Northshore wasn't getting enough. And kind of how I felt like the state needed another spotlight to put on high school athletes. And that's why I started the Hash It Out show and then expanded to the Hash It Out show game of the week. And Mike has Northshore Prep Report that he started with, and now his coverage is expanding as he's doing coverage on South Shore teams, River Parish teams. So this is great. And what he's doing in North Shore Prep Report is great. And I encourage everyone to check out what he's doing on Facebook, the website, all that good stuff. So big thank you to Mike McMillan. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for our show. We're back Tuesday and Wednesday. On Tuesday, we're going to talk about the Jefferson Parish District +1. And that +1 is Warren Easton from New Orleans. We're going to talk about that, give you our thoughts of, who wins the district, who's second best team in the district, all that good stuff. We're going to talk about that. We do have some guests lined up for next Tuesday. I can tell you right now, we have Raekwon Williams from St. Augustine, a wide receiver from St. Augustine who has committed to Tulane. He's going to join us. We have defensive back Ronald Garday. He's going to join us. And we also have defensive back Ron Trey Carter from Shaw. So those three guys are going to join us on the show on Tuesday. And we're going to start that show at 6:30. We're back here again next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. So make sure you all tune in. And yes, D-Boy, I do respect the North Shore, man. I do respect the North Shore. So, but to everybody that tuned in, thank you all so much. Special thanks to Lamar Gafford of Sindler Preps. Special thanks to Mike McMillan of North Shore Prep Report. Anthony Branson, another amazing show, gents. Thank you, man. He's ready for week 1. Yeah. Week 1, Anthony. We're going to see each other, man. Shaw against Hornville at Archbishop Shaw. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, tune in. We got a couple practice field tours episodes that we're about to do tomorrow and Friday that I'm going to have up for y'all. So make sure y'all tune in for that. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, till next time, y'all take care.
Louisiana, let the whole state know. It's time to tune in to the from the bayou to the cities, from the river to the coast, talking Louisiana sports with the voices you trust most. JB, the sports guy, bringing interviews your way. Players and coaches got something to say. Locker room stories in the crowd.